I'm BrigantiaBlackbird of the Blackbird Grimoire. Welcome to the daily forecast for Monday, December 30th, 2024. It is the 10th of Capricorn, and it is the day of Mrs. Claus. So today on our Yuletide schedule, we are going to be talking about vision, specifically envisioning what we want to be and do in 2025. I would encourage people to create a vision mood board, whether it's digital like this one or otherwise, whatever you have at your disposal, make use of it. Then meditate about methods to actually accomplish your goals. Look at everything together and think about, okay, what is the pathway to start actually doing some of this stuff? Seek guidance from your ancestors and deities. Use your tarot cards or whatever your preferred form of divination is, and use all of this to really build up your resolve. Get this really crystallized and hardened in your soul. Then, also today, we have a black new moon. Now, black new moon is a new moon that occurs for the second time within a calendar month. And I'm just going to read you this quick blurb because I thought it did a good job explaining it. A new moon is a time of new beginnings and a time to set toward manifesting your desires. There are times when there are two new moons in a single month, and the second moon is called a black moon. These are powerful heralds of change. The black moon is a time that is considered by many to be more powerful. So any spells cast at this new moon are considered to be more effective, and also I would add to have a longer lasting impact. Spells for abundance and living are appropriate at this time, and this is just so perfect that we are having this just a couple days before the new calendar year. This really helps us set ourselves up in a really good position to get that calendar year off to a very strong start. And of course, it's as with all new and full moons, I like to give you a tarot spread because it's nice to check in to see if there's any adjustments we need to do for our rituals. So the first card in the spread is asking, what energies is the new moon conjuring up for you? The second card represents your intention. What seeds of magic will be planted on the new moon? This is another reason why I encourage you to do this before you do your rituals, because the intention that you want to have and the intention that perhaps the universe thinks you ought to have might not be in alignment, and this is a way for you to check in with that. Then the third card is manifest. How can I nurture and support what I have sown? Very important. It's all about follow through in 2025. So you might as well get off on the right foot. Fourth card is insight. How will these seeds grow and develop during the moon cycle? Also a very good thing because you need to continue taking auxiliary action that is in support of your new moon intentions. And then the fifth card is what magic is the new moon drawing out for spell work. Also good to take the temperature on that before you get going. And then the sixth and final card is a message from your ancestors. So just another way of checking in to make sure that you've got all your ducks in a row to really make the most of this really potent energy. So best of luck, everyone. I hope you really seize this opportunity. Now for our astrology. All kinds of details here. The sun is in Capricorn, cardinal earth representing ambition. The moon is fourth quarter Capricorn, cardinal earth tradition. And then at 4:27 p.m. Central Time, that's when we get our new moon, that black moon. So definitely tonight we'll be able to just do our rituals, tap into that delicious energy, and set ourselves up for success. Mercury is in Sagittarius, mutable fire, which is to be opinionated. Venus is in Aquarius, fixed air, which is to be intellectual. Mars is retrograding in Leo, fixed fire, which represents tempered action. Jupiter is retrograding in Gemini, mutable air, which is to broaden perspective. Saturn is in Pisces, mutable water, representing nostalgia. Uranus is retrograding in Taurus, fixed earth, representing rebellion. Neptune is in Pisces, mutable water, representing intuition. And Pluto is in Aquarius, fixed air, representing reformation. So for our retrograde reminders, we only have three. Isn't that nice? All these months, and finally we only have three to worry about. Oh, bliss. For Mars, reconsider what you really want. For Jupiter, reconnect with your true path. And for Uranus, reconsider how you rebel. So we have that new moon, which is always reset and set new intentions. And then some specifics for the black new moon is firm breaks with past patterns and profound renewal. So really, even if you don't ordinarily do new moon rituals, I really encourage you to take advantage of this opportunity. And then the theme for the Capricorn moon is sobriety and discipline. So start the calendar new year off on a very firm footing by using this new moon to rid yourself of any and everything that you need to leave behind and declare resolutely your desires and your goals for what's to come. The Capricorn moon will help you stiffen your resolve and follow through. So again, seize this opportunity. Then for our tarot of the day, we have the Knight of Gifts. Knights represent ambition, risk, movement, and even compulsive behaviors. The suit of gifts is pentacles, coins, and the element of earth. Keywords for the card are practical, studious, and predictable. This is right in alignment with that lovely Capricorn energy we're going to be making use of so we can get going on our goals in a really productive way. Because the nights are always in movement, that puts us in mind about how our goals also need to be in movement. We can't just decide on them in our heads or write them down on a piece of paper and like, okay, I've set my goals. That's wonderful. It's everything we do after that point that's really what's going to count. What actions do we take? Even making decisions about what influences we are allowing ourselves to take in. Because if we are surrounding ourselves with naysayers when we're trying to pursue a very specific goal, that is absolutely going to be a millstone around our neck. You just can't be having that. Make sure you are surrounding yourself with the kind of reinforcement that's actually going to allow you to make progress. Next up, today's Celtic triad, three things all should strive for: oneness with their gods, peace amongst neighbors, and just judgment. So, union with the gods is one of the highest spiritual pursuits. It's not, the only aspect and the only function of spirituality, but I mean, it is really high up there as a goal. Because if we are not coming into union with our gods, then, what exactly are we up to? How are we supposed to benefit from their wisdom and counsel if we try to keep them at a complete arm's length, or worse, just like they're going to do their thing, I'm going to do my thing, and we're just not going to cross paths. I mean, some people have that attitude to this day. Have them justify it for you. It doesn't make sense to me. But moving along, and when it comes to peace amongst neighbors, if neighbors can get along, life is absolutely better for everyone. We have had, I want to say at least a solid 20 years in which, and entirely due to politics, and it's not due to any one political figure. It has been something that has been, the seeds for dissension have been firmly sown on both sides. That has separated people from one another, that has put them at odds, that has created more difficulties amongst people than what would ordinarily ever organically exist. And it has been an evil thing. So, fighting against that tide, looking for opportunities to build bridges where it's possible, to come back into alignment with people and say, okay, there's all these fights that go on in our society. However, we need to focus on something that's more important, namely the relationship amongst ourselves, and to not let the interests of people who are seeking power come between our relationships. And then just judgment. I mean, fairness, even-handedness, that creates necessary conditions to met out true justice. And we need justice. I mean, there are so many people out there. They express it in different ways, but underneath it all is just this desire of I just want a fair shake with information. Just give it to me straight. I just want to know honestly what's going on. That's all I want. I want to have the proper information. I want to have the ability to decide what I think about it. And then whatever action needs to be taken, it needs to be done in a fair, civilized way. That's all people are really wanting. It's really simple when you get down to it. The things we want, the things we really need, they're not complicated. The complications are artificial. They are imposed upon us, and sometimes they are self-generated, but it's not something that has to always exist. The complications are human-made, 100%. Then today's correspondences are on the theme of spirituality. For this, we have the color silver, the plant sage, the animal crow, and the crystals, the smoky quartz. Cultivating your spirituality is really self-care for the soul. And whatever form your pathway is really taking you, make sure that it is actually building you up. If it's tearing you down, if it's destroying your relationships, if it's making life difficult, not out of principle, not out of doing what's right, but difficult just to be difficult, just to set yourself apart, then I would submit that there is a problem, and that your form of spirituality is not actually serving you. So look to it. Look to the impact that it's actually having on your life. Get beyond the slogans of what people say something will do for you and look at what it actually does. And that way you can make judgments about what needs to be part of your path and what might need to be left behind. Then today's hearthkeeping hint is about the medicine cabinet. It's winter, so we're probably all going to get the sniffles at some point. Hopefully nothing more serious, but it happens. So it's prudent for us to make sure we have an organized medicine cabinet to refill any needed supplies, throw out anything that's expired or proven itself ineffective, and just make sure that we're ready to go so that if we do have a minor illness or someone in the household does, we have the means necessary to actually address that issue. And we're not having to make frantic last minute trips to the store, or we're not in a bad position. A little preparation for these things really does go a long way, and it makes the whole experience less miserable. Then for our practices, finalize your vision for 2025 and celebrate the Black New Moon. Greet the dusk. Give a think on our archetype of the Snow Queen. What parting wisdom does this idea have for you? And then for a meditation prompt, what have you discovered about your own inner darkness? When I talk about inner darkness, I am not referring to any character flaws or actions you've taken in your past that you regret. I am not using the Abrahamic context for darkness here. I'm talking about that which is personal, that which is very private, that which you may not necessarily have realized about yourself until you started actually looking from within. What is that which does not have light shone on it? That is something to think about. And then if you have a fluorite crystal, you might consider carrying it or wearing it today. In our creative corner, it's all about afghans. They are delightful blankets that are crocheted or knitted from yarn, and they are a very useful craft to learn. I am currently working on one. It's my favorite color. It is red. It is going to be so pretty. And once it's finished, it's it's probably going to be stolen by cats. But we'll make them share, and it'll just be a nice, cozy thing for me to wrap up in during cold weather. There's even a craft of finger knitting. They have really thick and large spools of yarn, and they just knit with their fingers. And that really simplifies the process of making it Afghan. It makes it relatively quick. So if you don't have a lot of patience, but this is something you kind of want to get into, finger knitting might be the way forward for you. Then for today's journal prompt, how can you make the dark feel cozier for the duration of the winter? I really do want to keep focusing on this theme about whether we really love the darkness of winter or whether we really hate it. How can we make it cozier? How can we make it more pleasant? There's no need for us to suffer more than what's really necessary. So just tossing that out there. So, on that note, everyone, have a magical day. I wish you bright blessings and all the joys of the season. And come back tomorrow for the final daily forecast of the year before we begin the next chapter of this channel. So, I hope you'll be back for that. But bye for now.